broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Praise and worship.
Always. You know, I love some praise and worship.
Oh, just lift your hands in his presence. For those who don't know, that's Karen Clark Sheard. Heavens Are Telling. She's opening up us. See, I can't even talk because she's opening us up. I can't even. I'm just feeling it. Like let me just bask in it. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you for tuning in. This is, of course, the Preachers of Detroit After Show. I'm your host, Lem Gonsalvez, and want to make sure that you subscribe to us on youtube.com/AFTERBUZZ TV, and also make sure you register with us at YouTube and SoundCloud, and hashtag whenever you're tweeting anything regarding the show at hashtag ABTVPOD for AFTERBUZZ TV, Preachers of Detroit. Again, I'm Lem Gonsalvez. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint, and that's on Twitter and Instagram. My man to my left, where can they find you, sir?
They can always find me at Patric Paul. Paul on my Twitter. There's 2 Pauls in there, y'all. Y'all know. Paul. That's like the running joke. And of course, Instagram, right. Patric Paul. That's Patric, no K, Paul, Paul.
And of course, you can find me at I am Gary Thomas on Instagram and Twitter, and IamGaryThomas.com.
Yes. So let's get into this episode.
Let's do it.
This was a heavy one.
This was heavy. This was heavy. I do want to start, right where probably the heaviest part was, which was the death of a young lady that was happening to be on the news there in Detroit. Her name was a Miracle, and Pastor Bullock was instrumental in this particular story. And so he actually meets, we see at the beginning, he meets with Mariana Williams, who is the young lady's grandmother. And basically, it was just a senseless act of violence. I'm sure, unfortunately, it's something that happens quite a bit there, but this was one that they definitely showcased. And like I said, because Pastor Bullock was involved, of course, we got to see firsthand him, talking to her, and just it kind of goes in line with what he's about. He in the midst of all this, he started he is starting what we saw on the show, the Live in Peace Movement, or LIP. And I thought it was amazing that this is something that he can get involved. And I don't know, but as much flack as what he gets, I find that he's the one, and this is maybe just because what they're showing, but he's the one that's really in the trenches. He's the one that's really in the community, involved, where it seems like some of the other pastors aren't as involved. At least they don't show it. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, this particular episode, like you said, is really heavy. But Pastor Bullock, he just showed me that's why he's my favorite. He's my favorite because that guy's calling is protest. I mean, when that young girl, 3 years old, got shot down through senseless violence, through domestic violence issue, I'm tired of the black on black crime. I'm tired of all that stuff that happens. But Pastor Bullock brings it to the forefront. He talks about it. He brings it to the street. And that guy right there, he's my favorite for a number of reasons. But this right here, it seemed like it was more about a miracle and about the violence opposed to about him. And that really touched me on this episode.
It's no words to really describe this whole situation. I definitely was so happy that him and the other pastor were so proactive in helping his family. But as they mentioned in the episode, this stemmed from an argument on social media.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that.
A child lost their life.
It's crazy.
How stupid is that, you know? And in its own way, God has just used a miracle as a miracle to bring this rally together, bring people together, and just help the family and kind of see the better ways that they can be. So it was overall just great just to see them really dive into it, but it was just so disheartening to watch and take in.
And I think, like I said before, I think this is very customary, which is why I believe he's starting this, because this is something that is an ongoing situation in the city.
One of which.
It's tragic. It's horrible, and I think he's one of the the people that are really wanting to get something started to break the cycle. Like you said, it started on social media. A young child lost her life. You see, the mother is injured. The father got injured because they were both shot, I believe. So I mean, here is. Again, a lost life, but then how many countless others has this happened to? And with this Live in Peace movement that it sounds like he was starting, or that he wants to start, I thought it was great. And I think it was good for him, in good taste, to use that funeral to basically promote what he was doing. I didn't think it was distasteful. I think, and I'm sure the family backed him up. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Grandma Mariana, she was putting it down. She was preaching. Like I mean, she was putting it down, and you could tell that she was impassioned by it. You can tell, and I believe that the Holy Spirit really took a hold of her and really spoke through her in the midst of everything that was going on.
She really meant that, not just for her granddaughter Miracle Williams. She meant that for all the other lives that was lost in that room too. And she was speaking so powerful with just that little tidbit that we got, because a lot of people spoke, which was great. And, and I feel sorry for those people that had lost kids and friends in that room. But the grandmama, she spoke from the heart, and she really, really touched me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I went to college in Michigan, and I worked at inner city Detroit. And I worked at a couple malls in inner city Detroit, and I saw how people kind of reacted to one another, and it was a lack of love there. And she made a very good point about loving one another, and I think that's a big thing that the city needs. And Detroit really needs to start loving each other and supporting each other. And I wish that rallies like this and movements like this made national news and were bigger and touched more people. I know it's just a starting ground, but it just they need that in Detroit. Other cities do have violence, but Detroit is in poverty, they are in such heavy violence, they really unemployment. It's just so many different things, but they have such a rich history.
They do.
What happened?
It's the Motor City, I mean, all the factories shut down, and now the kids and the young adults have nothing else to do out there. So it takes a guy like Pastor Bullock to bring up different issues and bring up different programs that people can get involved in. And even if you don't have a job, you can go down and sign up and be a part of LIP and help out. If you're from the streets, you can go and give a word, give a testimony, try to stop what's going on in your neighborhood. I think that's a good thing that for Pastor Bullock to start.
When did it become important, whether you were from the east side or the west side of Detroit, when did it become important to, rep your block or kill one another, when, it just makes no sense. And now you see how young children, not even just a teenager, but a 3-year-old who has not seen anything,
She was the casualty.
And I think too, a lot of it is stemmed to, when you talk about not being national news, I would say it was local news, but it didn't reach national news, probably because this is a minority event, you know what I'm saying? And until we saw things like Ferguson and things like that came out that did bring national attention to something that was kind of ongoing for some time. I mean, this is just a primary example.
Why was the main reason that Ferguson made the news?
Why was
it was such an uproar?
Well,
and there was so much other. That's why it made news. Where they were much more peaceful. They got together. They prayed together.
Oh, you mean that it didn't make because they had a peaceful?
It was much more contained, and they prayed, and instead of just breaking up buildings and getting into businesses and tearing up windows.
Well, that's what Pastor Bullock says. He says he brings misery. He said he brings ministry to ministry. I love that. I love that.
Ministry to misery.
Misery. Exactly. I love that little quote. So he used that misery to bring ministry to the rest of the city. And we're part of that right now by bringing awareness to it. This is a AfterBuzz show to talk about things like this. But this right there is really important. I mean, someone lost their life, and I mean, such a small child at 3 years old, they never had a chance to live their life. So young teens and young adults out there, you guys got to start changing up, start doing something different. You can't continue to ignore the signs that are out there. Don't listen to World Star Hip Hop and think that's cool to go, do something that you saw on World Star Hip Hop to get some views. That's ridiculous that you said this happened off of a social media argument. Are you kidding me? You guys are too subjected by the negative. You need to start talking about the positive. And I don't care if you don't like the Preachers of Detroit show, is more positive than what you're watching at home.
And again, just to end that, I think to when you were talking about this was a peaceful protest, and the news typically doesn't like peaceful. It wants the drama. It's kind of like reality shows. You know, we thrive. The shows that we want to watch or that we want to see are the ones that have the most drama. And the episodes that we don't like, it's like, oh, that wasn't much drama. I didn't really like that episode. So, and I think the media is very, you know, consuming of that. So that's probably why it didn't bring national attention in the sense of the aftermath. But I think it's good that this show was able to characterize that and show that even beyond them preachers getting together and maybe having feuds or odds with each other, which we've seen in the past, this is an example of where one of the preachers actually went into the community and is working on making a difference in that community, because this is their city. You know, this is where their city.
And even if the viewers are not called to be activists in the way that Pastor Bullock is, living positively and loving the people is just a step in the right direction. Just what your calling is.
Absolutely.
Just show a good example, be a mentor.
Absolutely.
Just live your life right. That's just enough for the youth to see that, okay, it can be done.
Right. I want to jump into Bishop Corletta Vaughn.
The homie.
We actually, myself and Gary had the pleasure, and definitely want to make sure that you go and check out our interview. You can find it, again, if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's going to be on there, AFTERBUZZ TV. And it was a great interview. She's a wonderful person. Wonderful person.
You know what?
Did you think otherwise?
No, of course I didn't think otherwise.
Well,
I love
Gary
Pastor Bullock, and me
did,
and
of
her.
course
Me and Bishop Vaughn very much loved on each other during this interview, and I really wish that it was a camera the whole time.
I wish it was too.
She's such a great conversation. She just instilled so much in us, and she was just funny and just charismatic, and just I loved her.
I definitely. I gotta say, I'm on the Bishop Vaughn train now. After that interview, at first I was like, I don't know some of the stuff she would do and say, but after that interview and just seeing like she just poured out her heart, you know, and where she was, and she kind of set some things straight that we had seen on the show, which you know, a lot of times you want to do, you just can't because you're watching a show. She was able to do that, and it was just dope to really see that and experience that with her.
You know what the best part for me was, you know, because we're gonna get into this, I'm sure. When we were talking to Bishop Vaughn in the kitchen of the the part of the studio, she was talking about Gil, and she just lit up talking about Gil. You know, she just really gave us a better understanding of who he was, because you know, I was all like, who is Gil and what does Gil do? And I was like, Bishop, what does Gil do?
You didn't say that.
I did. I was like, Bishop, what does Gil do? Because I'm really confused, you know, about what's going on. She just, you know, really told us what he does and what he's passionate about, and you know, just the things that he works on. And it was just really great just seeing her eyes just lit up about it.
In this episode, we had a little bit more in-depth thought pattern for Gil.
Well, that's what I want to get into. It was good to see him. First of all, I think it was good that he had the moment with his grandson, Andrew. And I think that was necessary because, of course, Bishop Vaughn, in the previous episode, we see her kind of going in on Gil, and it's like, yo, this is about our grandson. You know, and he was like, is it about you or the grandson? Because he was really trying to find out where she was coming from. She's like, this is about our grandson. We need to save our grandson. He is in trouble. We need to rescue him. And he looks up to you. You are the father figure for him. And I think that stuck in him, you know, immensely. And so we see the moment when they're shooting pool, and they're just kind of talking, and it's just general conversation, but he's just kind of, you know, imparting words into him and wisdom and all of that. And it seemed like Andrew was very receptive. And I thought it was a great moment to see that, to see here's a, you know, a young man that has had some struggles, that has maybe gone awry a little bit, and to kind of see his grandfather there and like really just hone in and be like, okay, Grandpa, I hear what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I'm gonna make sure I do better. I mean, I think it was great.
I think it's great that Gil is finally, he's making his presence known, and he's acknowledging that he's needed in Detroit, and it was just hang out, play pool, and really just converse. It was great, you know. And
he actually apologized. He actually apologized because he wasn't there. Because I think once Corletta really got on him about, like, you know, when you left, that's when he went crazy. And so when she said that, I'm sure that he really meditated on that and dwelled on that and felt bad because this is his family, you know, and to have the only father figure leave, and this is his fault, and he feels like, you know, he did this because if I was there, it wouldn't probably happen. So I thought it was really big of him to say, look, I'm sorry, you know, I apologize for not being there. And to me, it just really showed where Gil's heart is really at. Because I think earlier kind of the picture was paid is that, like, I just want to do what I want to do, you know, I'm gonna go back to where I'm going, and that's what, and I don't care what you say, and you know,
you know what, and he finds his peace there. And I just want to kind of drop something on the viewers who may not watch that interview. when Gil got sick, Bishop took a sabbatical from the church to go be down there and be down, down in North Carolina with him as he healed. So let's all get that, mess all this confusion together, because we were all confused with what was going on and why Gil was away from the family.
Right.
He was there. She had to go down. She bought a house there, but God called her back to the church, and that's why it is what it is. He's still down there. There. Yeah,
right. Okay.
And
it's not
she
like
said,
he just got his own place down
exactly.
there.
No, she was there at one point.
Well, that's good.
And one of the things that I thought was also really touching is that when she was talking about him, she said in watching the show, she saw the fear that he had, because she said that a lot of the reason why he didn't want, because there was a couple of things, they didn't say it in the show, but there was a couple of times that he was assaulted in Detroit. And so she said there was a level of fear there of him because North Carolina was his peace. That's where they had bought the house. That's where he was, being able to be healed, and where his wife was.
I knew it was
and all
deeper.
of that.
I knew it was deeper than him just being there.
He did not want to die in Detroit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. See, when the segment started, I actually thought it was about to be about their relationship again. And I'm glad they resolved that real quick.
Right.
He gave in easily, and I was so proud of him when he said, "You know what? You're right. We agree. I do need to be here."
Oh, you're talking about when they had the session?
When they had the session,
correct.
I really appreciated that he gave in early in the game. And then when we start talking about the grandchild, I was like, great, Drew is bending as well. This is a lovely family that can make it through the mud.
Sure.
And I
Bishop
can see
is
it
strong.
blowing. Yeah.
That's a strong woman right
I can
there,
see it. I can see them making it.
One of the things I also saw that I picked up, I don't know if you saw that, but Bishop Vaughn, up to this point, because she is a female bishop, and she's had issues with some of the words of subjection and place in the ministry that's been said, like by Pastor Shelby when they had the powwow. But one of the things she did say is she wants him to be a leader.
Yeah.
She used the term leader. Like, I want you at home so you can lead the home. You are the head of the household. Yeah, I'm a pastor or whatever, but you're still the head of this household. So I see her, even, whether it's growth or just her coming to age, or that's how it's always been, but maybe she didn't say that.
She's strong on that submissive thing. So she's like, I'm
right,
gonna tell you lead her.
Right.
And he's like, okay, I'm a leader.
But no, I mean, go ahead.
I think that's how she's always been. It's just, editing and depictions. Because when you met her, just that spirit, you knew that Gil was the head of the household.
Sure.
Yeah.
But she just battles with difficulties because, she's leading these people. But she also has said, I'm not even the leader of this church. God is the leader of this church. So I don't lead anything,
Right. Yeah, I think that she wants him there because she wants his presence known. That's her husband. She loves him, but again, she wants him to work his part and lead the family.
I think he's gonna do right.
We'll see. I mean, she did say that she didn't give us a whole lot because she's
now you mentioned that she watched the show. She's able to watch the show. The cast members are able to watch the show.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they watch the show?
National TV.
I'm just thinking. Well, I'm saying before while they're filming, I wouldn't think they would.
Oh no,
not
while
while
they're filming.
She's just saying
now.
Yeah,
okay.
She's saying while she's watching it now,
and she's learning.
She's seeing from all the episodes when she watches it.
I dig it.
She's seeing things from, because when you're in the midst of it, you don't really see yourself.
Yeah,
exactly. But now you can see it afterwards and be like, oh, okay. And that was key for her.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the interview. Where can we find it again?
It's going to be on the YouTube page. So youtube.com AFTERBUZZ TV.
Don't tell me.
Yeah. Well, I'm telling everybody. YouTube.com AFTERBUZZ TV. Go. I said it earlier. I'm gonna say it again. Patric Paul.
That wasn't the echo.
Right. All right. So let's move on to Gary's favorite people, the Shelby Five.
I heard that the Shelby Five were at the Stellar Awards, but I mean, of course, that was completely overshadowed because Beyonce was there too. But
she was.
But I heard they were there.
Really? Oh wow.
The bees was out.
Right. The beehive was out.
Right.
Yeah. I'm sure that got completely overshadowed.
Right.
Yeah.
Completely.
Right.
So the Shelby Five. So we see them kind of working together, and we see the oldest one, Don Shelby the third. He's kind of the leader of the group, and he's kind of, and we've seen him having conversations with his father in previous episodes, and how he's kind of, these are siblings. He's the oldest. He's trying to get everything together. Sometimes they battle with him, which siblings do. That's just part of life. I'm oldest of 5. I've been the same way. We didn't have a group, but I'm just like, I want you to eat your dinner. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right. So I know what that means. Right. So he's trying to get them together. There's some rebuttal there. One of the brothers plays football, so it's like not really his priority per se. So with this, you know, they have this rehearsal. The dad comes in, and it's interesting. And we know how, you know, the girls feel about their father, and we know how they feel just in general how the family structure works. But it is interesting, like when the dad comes in, everybody straightened up.
Yeah,
like everybody straightened up. Like it's
so
like
crazy. It's
like the teacher walked in the room.
Exactly.
Right. That level of respect is commendable, though. You know, having that kind of adoration for your father.
And wait till your father gets home. Yeah,
right. Exactly. And I mean, I think it should be. I mean, the father, you should respect your father. He's the head of the household, and you should, you know, as the children. And then it was interesting too when they had the concert. What do you think of their song? What do you think of their song, Gary? Gary, tell us.
I definitely think that. I think they're definitely gifted, and they have some talent. I love the energy, especially the older brother. He is kind of the leader. He sets the tone for it. He was definitely dancing in the spirit, preaching. It was great.
Sure.
They definitely, it is definitely time to seek some outside production.
We didn't get to hear the whole, I didn't get to hear the whole song, but I thought their stage presence was really great.
I mean, Courtney just to come up, just
well, that's what Dad was saying the same thing. But just like Courtney said, she said, you know, the rehearsals might not go all the way you want them to, but the performance is going to be awesomeness, like she said. You know, I saw that actually. The show actually wasn't bad.
No, it wasn't awful. I just that he is definitely just a pivotal part of that group, and he's just so amazing.
Oh yes, definitely.
The energy he brings, especially being a young group, you need to bring that energy for us, and it just makes us more in tune. Just Courtney needs to come on up to
come up
his level a little bit. We'll turn your volume up just a bit.
Your mic is there. Turn your volume up a little bit.
But
Courtney, are you here?
I could have sworn the football player wasn't going to be on time.
Oh, I thought when he was getting dressed or
setting that up because he was in his T-shirt, and it was like, now coming up to the stage is Shelby 5. I was thinking just, you know, 4 of them was going to come out. He was going to come out last. Yeah, I just thought that was the build-up, but it wasn't. They were on time.
Me personally, I mean, it's TV. You know, you see enough of these shows, you kind of build up the drama. I didn't think that he was going to be late. I think they were just kind of milking that. He is kind of, you know, because he does have, like I said, his passion is football. It seems like he's still in high school, and so I think it's.
I don't know if he's in high school still.
I think
I think we have to actually look up their ages because I know
should.
You know,
the youngest is 16.
Yeah, but the oldest has already graduated college.
Yep.
Right.
So it could be he's entering or already there.
Do we know what place he? Because I thought he was the second to the bottom.
I don't. We have to look that up.
We have to maybe look that up. I guess I'm just taking the assumption that he's in high school.
Football practice.
Right. You know, I mean, football in college. I don't know.
Because he mentioned he wants to play or he's focused on college football. He didn't really say if it was or wasn't college football.
I guess I'm just making the assumption. But
I don't know. It's hard to do Hell Week in 2-a-days and come rehearse.
Right. They all give off that younger vibe.
Right.
You know, so it was surprising when they said, "Oh, he's already graduated." They all give off a younger vibe,
and they all seem. I think, do they not live at the house? Or are they all still at the house still? It seems like
I would hope so.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if he graduated college, I would think like, okay, maybe he's at his own place, or
maybe that'll play.
I don't know, and maybe, but it just could be a similar situation where they tape at the house, so they're all at the house together.
You know what? I would say this about the Shelby 5 because I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but I think like the Walls group that they have the opportunity to be a cultural game changer, to be young, be about Christ, and still have their cool because they're all like really fashionable, keep themselves together, up with the trends, you know, and know their words, you know. So I'm okay with that. You know, I think that if they can take this music, their music to a new level, and definitely seek some outside production, more talents, and definitely get involved with the oldest brother in production, it's going to be really big for them.
I think it's going to be one of those things. I mean, obviously, I think the dad is it sounds like he wants to kind of pull away because he has overshadowed them when they were, obviously younger. So I think he does want the son to kind of take the reins, but it'll be interesting to see as the show continues where they go. If they get like a deal or if they get, outside production or if they actually are able to take off.
Well, you remember in episode 2, they were talking about, I think it was 2, they were talking about outside production. And remember he had that conversation with his dad.
Right.
That was secular. He was like, well, what are you trying to take you?
Right.
So,
well, I mean, if you've seen them on Instagram, they do have some videos. They have some nice voices. The girls definitely hold it down.
Yeah. Even when they're humming, when Don and his son, Don the Third, were humming, that was sounding good.
Yeah,
they were sounding good. So I know they can sing.
No, they can definitely sing.
They can sing. Yeah. So we just gotta watch.
Mama sings too.
She does.
She'll tear down a little church.
Shelby 7 then. Shelby 7.
Just everybody. The white
she
mom and pop Shelby.
First Lady Shelby stays with a jazzy asymmetrical wig.
Yeah.
Okay.
She
stays with a good one. She is an epitome of a first lady.
She works it. She do what she got to do, man. Okay, so real quick, talk about Bishop Ellis. They did touch on him. I don't think we got really in of him last episode. So focus on him was this bike giveaway that he does. It sounds like it's an annual thing.
10 years, they said.
I think something like that. Yeah. So I don't know. I was trying to find out, and I didn't. Maybe I missed it. Help me out if I did. But I was trying to figure out why bicycles. I didn't know if that had a certain, theme or it was like.
Think about your first bike.
Yeah, your first bike thing. You get jittery because you get to play with it. I mean, I did a bike giveaway. I didn't do it personally with the Dream Center. Stefan Wallace, Coffey Anderson, and his wife, and Stacy Dash. They were giving out with the Dream Center was giving out bikes. Over 2,000 bikes, man. Those kids' faces just was lit up.
Really?
Yeah, the feeling that you get just watching a kid get his first bike is amazing. So to give those bikes
first,
out,
second, third,
they
give me a new.
They was loving it, and he could tell you about the tearjerker part for him.
Oh man,
yeah.
When that last family where they didn't get that his wife, Chrisette mentors. That was just like. Wow, you really were hands-on. It was just a different side to see him when they finally brought him back to the season, because we haven't seen a lot of him, to see him in this capacity, to see him working. And not, he was just, loving on people, hugging people. He was right in the midst of it. He wasn't being, some pastor that's above anyone else. Sitting with the kids, hugging everybody, I love you, just shaking hands, dapping people up, him and his wife were right in there. And that's what you need to see, not just giving away the bikes. Showing people that you still love them.
Do they shake hands after the service too? No.
Shake hands after the service. What do you mean?
Oh,
you mean like afterwards?
Yeah. Some churches do that.
Some churches they do. I have a question though. Do you think, just based on what you said, Gary, do you think that is for the cameras, or do you think that he was really being genuine?
That's why I'm asking that question.
So I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't even, you know what? I'm not even going to put that in. I'm not going to cast that into the world. Okay. I'm not even going to think like that, because I just want to keep him right where he is in my mind.
Sure.
Yeah.
And what he's doing.
I'm not mad at that, because he didn't have to do it.
Sure.
And he did it.
Sure.
For me, to get a bike from anybody, would have been like the world to me as a youth. I remember my mom one time on Christmas played a trick on me. Basically, she gave us all our gifts and everything, but I wanted a bike that year. And after the gift giving was done, I was sad because I didn't have a bike. I had gifts, but I didn't have the bike.
Sure.
So what she did was go, after breakfast, she went next door, because that's where she hid the bikes, and brought the bike over. And I was just overjoyed, so happy. So I can understand the feeling to get a bike and not have one at first, like the kids at the end. So I know that feeling that they shared was the same one I shared. So it brought that to me. I saw that in the episode.
Sure, like I said, first, second, third bike when I was a kid, it don't matter. New bike, I'm rolling.
Give it to me. Give me the bike right now. I just didn't know if there was like a, some people, they do things and there's like a biblical connotation, like if there was a scripture or something. That's all I was just finding out, because he picked bicycle. But like you said, that is an integral part in a kid's life.
He said, building confidence and being and showing people that you love them. They can be so much more. There's hope in the world. It's just, I just don't want to say that he did this for the cameras. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't want to even.
Well, I don't personally think he did the bike giveaway for the cameras, simply because he's been doing this for 10 years. So it's
but you
not
mean
like
the part with the.
I was just talking about that scene and him touching.
I'm with you.
Did you see Grandma like? I believe that was the grandmother.
Oh, she was crying. She was very touched.
She was happy.
Baby, she ain't no actress.
She don't know. She don't know. But I'm glad the episode did more. Like the bike giveaway, because when it started off, it was just Scrabble. I was like BORING, double word, boring. Because what's going on here?
I was cracking up
playing
because
Scrabble.
I just thought it was like funny to see them interact like this. He was really making up some words. She was making up some words. He was like, Laban, that's such and such father. What?
And you just gotta believe him because he's the preacher, so you gotta believe it must be a word.
Well, I think what was good about this entire episode, like we talked when we first said, it was heavy, but I thought it was good because it tugged at our hearts. And I think when we think of the term and the actual term when we see our pastors and the people that we, you know, are under, and we know that we're under them because they have the heart of God. And I think it's good to see these pastors not bickering with one another, not arguing, but actually doing what they are called to do, and being a servant to the people. And I think that was good for this episode to really showcase that. And I hope that we see more of that. You know, I mean, obviously good TV is the drama or whatever, like we mentioned before. It is a reality show, but at the end of the day, I'd like to see more of that.
Is it
definitely?
Isn't that the you know, what's great about them coming in and interviewing with us? We're getting to meet them and really feel the spirit of what kind of person they are, and it's, you know, it's so different than seeing them in their situations.
They're people.
Right? It's like,
they're people too, right?
Yeah, you know.
And we had the chance to go in and dive into their lives, so we can criticize all we want, but the camera's not at my house.
I ain't criticizing. I ain't criticizing Bishop Vaughn.
I mean, you have an opinion. You have an opinion, and what I'm saying is, you know, you have to have some thick skin. You know, you have to be humble. You have to humble yourself to be criticized by anybody, by YouTubers or whatnot. And I think that's very, very valor of her to come and interview with you guys.
I would say one thing. You know, you YouTubers are hard sometimes on us, and it is.
We ain't never scared.
You know, it doesn't really bother me. I'm okay with it because I'm gonna have my opinion out of the way, and you know, I just am seeing it now from their point of view too, being reality TV. You know, you guys come for us, we come for them, and you know that's why sometimes it's. You also got to point out the greatness, you know, in people. We're giving a good show, but each pastor has so much greatness in them, and so much, you know, love in them that even though you may not like them, because everybody knows I don't even really fool with John Shelby, but at any rate, still, you know, see him being a great father and seeing how he can inspire other fathers.
His fruits are showing you. So,
exactly.
You know, you don't have to like him. His fruits is doing his thing.
Yes.
Yeah, they're doing their thing.
True. No, I think that's a great point, Gary, and I think that is a great segue into predictions. Let's deal with that. How about that?
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
This whole thing is just like
eerie.
I love it. Okay, so Paul, I'm gonna start with you.
It's Patric Paul.
So obviously, when we watch these episodes, there are oftentimes that some of the cast members, you know, aren't shown that particular time.
Yeah.
So there were some that were, you know, missing, and then we had some that, you know, we had a storyline. Going forward, what do you think is going to be kind of the game changer for some of these cast members in this show? What do you think going forward?
Well, today's episode was a game changer for me as a viewer with what Bullock did.
Okay.
So that was a game changer for me. I mean, that was not television. That was real life. You know, like I said, someone lost their lives, and it's an ongoing problem out there. So my prediction is that watching the show, I know the episodes are already done, but watching the show, I think Pastor Bullock's heart's going to be changed, and it's going to be bigger than just the show.
So you think he's going to make like a transformation,
a real transformation in his heart? I believe that.
Okay.
I saw it, some of it when the grandmother was speaking. I just feel that he's going to have a little bit more transformation.
Okay.
Yeah. Going forward.
Okay. Interesting, Mr. Thomas.
I think that, you know, just from the previews of the next episode, that Dorinda is about to save some lives. She is going to be very transparent and you know, talking about the spirit of depression, because oh my gosh, an evangelist, you know, someone in the body of Christ, you know, a leadership in the body of Christ is dealing with depression. Oh my gosh, you know, that's what people say. But she's about to, you know, break down to people, you know, I'm dealing with this too. I'm just human like you. I deal with the same things, and it's going to save a lot of people's lives. And I think she's definitely going to give some revelation in, you know, dealing with that type of spirit.
Right.
Amen.
I'm actually looking forward. I saw that on the previews, and we haven't seen Dorinda a whole lot in this season as well. So it'll be interesting when she, you know, talks about that. And I agree with you. I think that it's going to touch a lot of people because there are a lot of things that, you know, leaders don't really discuss in the ministry, and for a number of reasons. But it's just something that doesn't come up. I know my father, who's been my pastor for years, you know, there's a lot of times he would talk about things that happened in his past and things that he's dealt with, and the whole purpose was to help somebody else. And I think that with her being able to use this as a tool on television, you know, where, you know, thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands of people are viewing every week, it'll be good. And she's a prominent figure in the gospel community. To see her kind of come out with that and let her know, you know, it was just like when we had, I think it was Kirk Franklin some years ago when he was dealing with pornography, and he came out and he talked about it, and he said, this is something that I was dealing with, and God had to deliver me. So, and I think think it touched a lot of people. Yeah. So I think it'll be good to see, you know, what comes out of that, and you know, and moving forward. I personally think that I agree with you on Bullock. Okay. I think Bullock is going to have, he's going to be the person that's going to kind of have the 180 degree. Yeah. I think he's going to be the most improved player as far as like, you know what I'm saying, his role and kind of how he started and how he's like going to mature. You know what I'm saying? So, but it'll be interesting, but we just got to keep watching. So,
I am curious about what Pastor Tim direction is going to be after that last, you know, debacle we had at the church with the condoms and all that. But I'm curious on what angle they're going to give him now.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I personally, I know that he pastors a church here in LA, so I don't know if during the taping he was there a lot, you know, and maybe that's why you haven't seen him a lot.
I'm just about to say, like, can we actually see Pastor?
Right.
He's a cast member.
Are you on the cast or not?
What's going on? So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that comes up. So, I'd like to see him go on a date like Bullock.
Like Bullock? Oh,
yeah. We need to, Pastor, can we just like, you know, do some type of...
We know it's not going to be a happy ending.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna that note, we're gonna see. Hopefully, we have him in the show. He's in LA.
Okay.
We're gonna get him on the show, ladies and gentlemen. He will be in the show one of these times before the season is over. I will say next week that we will have Pastor Bullock be calling in, so we'll be able to talk to him and kind of pick his brain. He was great on the one-on-one interview I had, so I'm excited to have him, you know, as part of the actual show. Yeah. But that has been our show, and we want to thank you for tuning in again. I'm your host, Lem Gonsalvez. You can find me on social media at The Poet Saint, and that's on Twitter and Instagram.
Patric Paul on my Twitter, and Patric Paul on Instagram and Facebook, or you can find me on Crenshaw's Lawson.
All right.
Crenshaw's Lawson.
What? Yeah, it's called Bean Pies.
Lord.
Help us.
You can find me, guys, on Instagram and Twitter at I am Gary Thomas, and of course, IamGaryThomas.com.
All right. Thanks again for tuning in. Make sure you check us out next week. Have a good night.
Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.